I knew Vimalananda's guru for 10 years. He had three gurus. I knew the one that's mentioned in the books as Junior Guru Maharaj. Um, his name was Jatala Sadhu Ram Viswambharadas ji. He was found in a cave. He had a certificate from the archaeological survey. It didn't say in Samadhi, but it did say he was found in a cave in 1905 in Orissa. After he got to where he spent the majority of the next 80 years, or almost 80 years, and that was near the temple of Varaha Narasimha Swami at Simhachalam in Andhra Pradesh. But it's right outside the large city of Vishakhapatnam. It is said that he spent a number of years sitting in a tree, not eating or drinking, and then a number of years sitting on a rock, and then he started taking a sip of water at a time, and then a sip of milk. And Guru Maharaj and Vimalananda had their own opinions about things. I met with them on a few occasions, and then I would go and visit Guru Maharaj once a year, usually, occasionally twice for 10 years. And during the time I knew him, he lived on a diet of a very small amount of milk every day, a very small amount of soda water or cola beverage or something like that. But the only solid food I saw him eat was tobacco. And I don't mean he chewed it up and spit it out. I mean he would take two giant-sized tobacco leaves, dark black tobacco from Guntur, tobacco-growing region of that state, and he would tear them into strips, and he would just chew on them and swallow them. Of course, I do not believe that there are shamans who will drink tobacco juice, but they will immediately vomit it back up because it's a deadly poison. So Guru Maharaj was the kind of guy who would always listen to whatever people were thinking. And one day I was just thinking, how can he possibly do that? And he just turned to me and said, he spoke Telegu, which I don't understand at all. And he spoke very interesting kind of archaic Hindi. And he was always a bit on the, you could never tell what he was actually thinking about or where he was going. And he had two rows of teeth. The front row were all worn down, and the back row were all really good looking and healthy teeth. It's very interesting. And as you get older, of course, the cartilage in your body continues to grow. So his ears were giant. His xiphisternum, that's down at the bottom of your sternum here, that was like about 2 inches long. And most people, it's, I don't know, half an inch or something. Mm. So he was really, really old, for sure. He said, you wear down your teeth, you wear out your digestive tract. Who knows what kind of disease you pick up from the food. The best thing to do is find something really poisonous and learn how to do internal alchemy and create everything you need out of that. And why is that really good? Because if it's really poisonous, it has plenty of Shakti in it. And that Shakti can keep you alive if you can do the internal alchemy. Convert it into nectar, into Amrita, and then stop wasting your time. He was very much against drinking, except he would allow Vimalananda to do it. Everybody else, he refused to even countenance the possibility that alcohol could be good for them. But in Vimalananda's case, he knew that he could handle it. Hmm. It's that internal alchemy that you need to have before you can even imagine that you can work with some of these really poisonous things. Yeah. Oh my God. And so he was getting some of his prana from that, and he was getting a lot of his prana from the sun. He was a worshiper of Gayatri. And he would occasionally, he was very generous in his own way. He would occasionally let me massage him. And, but after a while, he would say, you know, you have to stop now. So again, one day I was thinking, well, okay, but I mean, he's enjoying it. Why is he making me stop? And so as soon as I had that thought, he said, if you apply too much oil, it makes it too difficult for the sun rays to get into my skin.
Oh my God.
So I said, hi, Guruji. I remember one day it was during the monsoon, and it wasn't raining. It had rained heavily earlier. It wasn't raining at that. It was drizzling at that moment. I mean, the water was coming down, just not very heavy. And it had been drizzling all morning, and he used to do homa every morning. He did it in a, you know, in his own unique way. He would light the fire, then he would put a bunch of green leaves on top of it, so the smoke would go everywhere. And you know, then it would be, the fire would just go down. So he had done that. He had covered the fire with green leaves. It had been raining for 3 or 4 hours. It was the middle of the day. And we were talking, I would say about, I don't know, 20 meters from the Homakund. And I looked over there at one point, and there was a flame 3 feet high coming out of the Kund.
3 feet.
Literally. And nobody had been there. I was there. Nobody would dare to touch his Kund anyway. I don't know what people would do if they touched his Kund. Most people, 90% of the people who came to want to see him, he wouldn't meet. He would just say, po re po, means go away in Telegu. And if they insisted, he would say, po. And if they still insisted, he would pick up whatever he had, including, you know, a bottle or a rock or a coconut, and throw it at them. And that always made them go away. So nobody would touch his Kund. I knew that there was nothing going on there, but there was this 3 foot high flame. And I turned and looked at him, and he said, when a man has a dhuni, he's always aligned with it. And whatever is going on with him will go on with that dhuni also.
Oh.
I said, Guruji. What else was I going to say?